Welcome to H2K Infosys. H2K Infosys is a e-verify business based in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. We provide 100% job-oriented, instructor-led, face-to-face, true live online software training programs. It also includes access to cloud test lab with software tools. We provide live project for you to work on. We also provide assistance with mock interviews, resume preparation and review, and job placement assistance. H2K Infosys is trusted by so many students across the world. H2K Infosys provides world-class services in IT training with real-time project work for corporates and individuals, special IT training for MS students in the United States, software design, development, QA manual and automation, performance testing and maintenance, IT staff augmentation, job placement assistance, and tech support.
Before starting this, first of all, we need to know the purpose of LOG4j. So for that, just create a normal Java application, core Java application. LOG4j project. Create a class. Within the main method, write some sysout statements. Normally, we'll use system.out.println to print the messages onto the console. So whenever we want to write some kind of information or whatever may be the output that will be resolved for any kind of operation or the object details, then we'll go for system.out.println and we'll display the information by using system.out.println. And this println method, this out is nothing but output stream object, which will send the information to the console. So currently my console is here within Eclipse itself, and you can see that the information message which you have used to print, that the message has been displayed to the console. This looks good as we are only dealing with Eclipse and we are able to see the information also properly. But what happens if we move our code to testing environment or production environment? When we move our code to testing or production environment, we won't be having any kind of console access. That means it's not possible for us to see these messages to be displayed onto the console. Or else, let us say you have moved your code to some Unix environment. Normally, our testing or production environments, it will be with Unix only. When you have executed the code by using Java space, let us say com.box client you are executing, and this has displayed some messages in the sense our system.out.println. So you can see on the Unix window itself, Unix prompt itself, all the log messages. But we need to think about the feature. So currently we are working only with respect to a small project or our box client details. But what if we have involved in a big project called any kind of telecom projects or banking projects, which involves a customer relationship management, nothing but CRM. Customer relationship management, nothing but which will process the order processing. In any kind of projects, So these kind of domain related projects, they need some kind of orders to be processed. So that means, let us take an example. Let us say customer called up to the customer service and he has asked for some kind of telephone number access. Or let us say he has recently moved to some location and he wants some telephone number to be installed at his location. So the customer relationship team, they will take all the information from him, like what is his details and SSN and the address details and the kind of features that he wants. Once after that, they will provide some kind of order ID to the customer, and they'll specify that some engineer will come and install the equipment on 05/18/2012. So today is 5/13, so it may take 4 days to process the whole order and send the engineer to the required place. So that means from 05/13/2012 to 05/18/2012, there will be a lot of stuff needs to be done. That's why the due date will be given as 5 days later than the ordered date. So meanwhile, the order will be processed in the system, in the customer relationship management. The purpose of that processing is they're supposed to allocate a telephone number and they need to assign some kind of ports, switch ports at the central office, and they need to verify whether the end user location, the location is serviceable or not. And finally, they need to activate the TN. So there are several other steps also, but let us say these are the 4 steps that needs to be done between these 4 days. And after 4 days, let us say the client has got the connection on 05/18, he got the connection, and at that time he has identified that he didn't get the feature called call forwarding. He didn't get the feature called call forwarding. So that means he will again call up the customer care and ask like, hey, I didn't get the call forwarding even though I have asked during the installation step or during the ordering time. So someone has to verify whether the customer has requested it properly or not, or whether the CRM team has correctly recorded those requirements or not. And once after that, when they are activating the TN, they need to verify whether the feature has enabled or not. So that means the issue has to be verified at certain levels. The issue has to be verified at different levels. And also, each and every team, see, this will be done by one team, and this will be done by another team, this will be done by another module, and also some other module. So that means each and every team will consist of their own application server or their own code or the deployment kind of information. So that means at each and every level, we are supposed to verify whether the feature was properly activated or enabled or not. But currently, what is the date? Let us say the client has called on 05/20/2012, and this has executed on 5/13 and 5/14, 15, 16, and 17 at this level. So at this point of time, let us say this got activated on 05/17. So currently the date is 20/2012, and it's not possible for us, telephone number, it's not possible for us to verify the logs that are available or the system console information that was generated on 05/17. Today is 05/20, that means the application server has received many orders, and we have processed all of them, and it might not be possible for us to verify those order details at this point of time. That's the reason for any kind of application server or for any kind of project, we are supposed to store all the logs at least for the specific period of time. This will be provided by your project management. So how many days you want the logs to be available, or until how many days the logs needs to be kept in the Unix box, and when we are supposed to purge the logs. So for that purpose only, there is one framework which got created, that is log4j framework, which is used for logging purpose. So instead of writing the logs to the console, currently we are writing the logs to the console, nothing but this is the place. But when we are executing this program one more time, whatever the logs that we have written for the previous execution, they are not available. So we want the logs to be available. We want the logs to be available until and unless we'll go and purge the logs or delete the logs by ourselves. So log4j is a mechanism which was developed as an open source framework. You can just take the jar file from Apache website, and you can make use of the jar file. To enable logging within our project. So that means if you have incorporated log4j with our project, and if you have moved your code to production, then you can easily go to that particular day on 0, 5, 13 or 14, and you can search with the order number. You can search with the order number because we have generated an order ID and we have given that to the customer. So just take the order number and verify in the logs and identify the corresponding messages that are available, and you can easily debug the issue, and or else you can easily enable the feature at the switch level. So download the log file, the website I have mentioned in the PPT. So I'll be going to distribute this one. Download the log file from Apache log4j site, and once after that, you just need to incorporate log4j within your build path. Or else, if you are using dynamic web project, so make sure that log4j was available within your runtime as well. How to use the log4j classes or log4j framework. All the classes are available from a package called org.apache.log4j. Org nothing but Apache is an organization, and our framework is log4j framework. The top level class that we'll use is logger class. This is the startup class. This is the class that we are going to use, and we'll be going to write our log messages. So until now, you are writing the log messages by using system.out.println, but from now onwards, we are going to use logging framework and we'll write the log messages. There are several log levels available within our log4j framework. They are debug, info, warn, error, fatal. Debug messages, normally this will be used for providing the debugging information. So the debug level logs will be available until our QA environment, nothing but our testing environment, or else our development environment. Information messages. So the debug messages are just like we want to track in QA environment, like if at all if we got an error, and we'll specify some of the messages with the debug level. Once you have specified that my logging framework level is debug, then you will see all the debug messages and also above levels of debug level. As this is the same order in which I have written. So when you have specified info level, I'm using my logging for framework with respect to info level means you won't be able to see the log messages that are with respect to debug level. When you're writing the log messages, you are going to use all the levels based on your requirement. Let us say you are entering into some method. Let us say I'm entering into main method. Then you'll say that entered main method. And also then you'll perform some business logic code. And finally you'll specify that exited from the method. So normally these kind of messages are called as debug messages. So currently I have only main method. If you have 50 classes, then based on this line, you will be confirming that the method execution has reached until this point. So normally these messages will be specified as debug level. And inside this, let us say you are writing some code and you want to display the value of some variable data display. So these kind of messages normally you will place with info level, because this information is required for our processing, for our verification, or whenever there is an error occurred, we just want to use these messages and verify whether the data has received properly or the computation has performed properly or not. On the warning level, if at all, if you have some issues with the data, normally they will be written by using warning messages. So whenever you'll verify your log level, and if you have mentioned that the warning message level as your log level, then you will get only the messages related to warn, error, and fatal. You won't get the messages which are with info level and debug level. Normally when you are writing the messages, logging messages, you will write with all the levels, but based on your log level priority that you have set during the application server startup time, those messages will be displayed to your console. So debug level, it will be used in testing and development, and info level, it will be used in production, because we don't want the production logs to be filled up very fast. QA means testing environment, means you won't receive much requests, but production environment means you're going to handle a lot of capacity and your log file will be going to complete very fast. So that's the reason we won't use debug level in production. And also error. Let us say you got some kind of exceptions that has to be taken care by your production support team or the development team. So those kind of error messages normally you'll place in try catch blocks. Any kind of code will be specified in try catch block, and catch block, within your catch block you are going to write exception messages, and the exception messages will be specified by using error level log. So log level we are supposed to use is error level, and when we take a look at our Unix log file and just make use of the log level, and you will get all the error messages directly. Fatal means something just like you got an out of memory kind of stuff or stack overflow kind of stuff. Whenever you are going to handle, without those error messages fixing, you can't go ahead executing the rest of the code. So then you'll go for fatal error. Normally, to start the log framework, you are going to call a method getLogger. The getLogger method will provide you an access to logger object. You won't be going to use logger equal to new logger object. You are not going to do this. You are going to ask the logging framework to provide an instance. And to provide that instance, you need to call a method called getLogger. And also you need to pass the class name on which class you are going to use this logger object. See, currently we are going to use logger object within each and every class. Let us say our project consists of 50 classes, and you need the logger object in all the 50 classes. So at that time, you just want to know from which class the error message has displayed. So that's the reason you are supposed to specify the class name during your object creation. And once after that, you can make use of appenders and layouts to configure log4j framework. Appender. Just a second. See, Isha, what I'm trying to tell was, let us say we want to incorporate the logging framework, and let us say we have 50 classes. That means we want the access to log4j framework for each and every class, because in each and every class we'll be having a lot of methods, and for each method we want to write some kind of messages. But let us write some class names. Main order class and change order class, delete order class, new order class. Yeah, we'll discuss about that, Vijay, in a minute. But when you are using the log4j framework with each and every class, you are going to specify that I want to use logging framework. That means you need to have a logger instance to log the messages.
So Krish, for every class I have to call the logger method, right?
Oh yeah, you just
every class.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You just need to ask the getLogger method to provide an instance for the logger.
Got it. So for whichever class I'm making, or whichever class, whichever all the classes, whatever classes I'm using or preparing, I'll make a log. I'll have to call the logger object.
Exactly.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah. The purpose of using that is, see, let us say you are writing the log messages corresponding to main order class and change order class. During the message printing, it might be somewhat confusing. We'll take a look at that one. Let us say you are writing the messages main order from main order.class. When you are writing the messages onto the console or a file, you need to know from which class the message has printed, or else it is not at all possible for you to debug the code at each and every time. Let us say when you're writing the log message, if you can see that currently our message is entered main method. So entered main method you have written, but how can I identify from which class the method has executed or the method has written this statement? That's the reason when you are using the log4j framework, it will tell you from which class this message has printed to the log. That's the reason you need to ask the getLogger by passing the class name, and this class name will be used by your logging framework, and during the message printing, it will display the class name from which the message has specified. So based on this class name, it will be easy for us to debug from which class and from which method it has displayed this method, and you can easily debug the code to verify the issue. Appender. Appender specifies the destination to which we are interested in writing the logs. Yeah, we can use for interface or abstract class as well. Appenders, destination, nothing but currently you are writing to console, but with respect to log4j framework, you have several other options. You can write to a file, or you can send to the database the logging message, or else you can use JMS, which will be used for messaging service. And with file also you have several other options. Rolling file, daily rolling file, nothing but on each and every 24 hours, the file will be rolled and it will create a new file, and the old file will be created with respect to some other name. Let us say our log file is system.log file. During, or let us say you have specified that to follow rolling file appender. Then after 24 hours, let us assume that every day at 12 o'clock. Every day at 12 o'clock, the logging framework will create a new system.log file, and the older one will be created with the date 2012-05-13 like this. And tomorrow it will create one more file 2012-05-14, and it will start logging from system.log. Daily rolling file appender. Let us say you want some kind of sizing mechanism. Sorry, just only we have discussed about daily rolling file appender. And the normal one, rolling file appender. Whenever you are writing some kind of logs, let us say our project was too big and it is handling a lot of transactions every day, 1 million transactions per day. So that means your log file will become too large, like 5 GB or more than 5 GB or 10 GB within each day. So to open 5 GB file, it will take a while by using your VI editor. So normally we won't prefer 5 GB file to be created for our logs, and we want the log file to be created, let us say, with 400 MB only. So after 400 MB, your LOG4j framework will create a new file, and it will specify that the older one, system.log, it has already completed 400 MB, then it will start a new file. And if this one also got filled 400 MB, then it will change the existing one to 2, and it will create one more file 400 MB, and it will start the new file to write the log files. So to specify what kind of stuff you want, either you want to write this to console or rolling file, daily rolling file, JDBC or JMS, you need to specify the destination. The destination will be termed in terms of log4j as appenders. Log4j contains several appenders. You can just verify that it's log4j API, and based on your needs, you can select one of them. And the next one is layout. Layout, nothing but, see, currently the message, whatever that we are printing with our system.out.println, it is just printing only the message, whatever that we have specified within our main method. But when we are writing the logs, when we are in the production, we want the timing, like when the log message got created, or what is the thread that it has printed the message, and when the log message has created, because we want to verify within the timeline. Let us say 10 to 12:30, we just need to verify only the log files that are generated between 10 to 12:30. Even with rolling file appender also, it will create more than 15 or 20 files within a day. So it's not required for us to verify with all the 20 files, and we can ask the client to specify the timings. Let us say if the client has specified 10 to 12:30, then you can just go and verify only the log files that are generated between those two time frames. And also the class name which has generated the message. And also if you want to give some kind of information, there are several other options. Line number. If you want the line number from your class file, by using which you can easily go and verify the code and you can identify the issue. And also log level, nothing but whether this message has printed with the debug, warn, info, fatal, or any kind of message. And finally, your actual message. So these are all nothing but layout, in which pattern, layout specifies the pattern, in which pattern you want to display the data, or you want to display the messages. Layout will be specified by using a pattern.
So many of our students have given testimonials on how our training programs are. You will find them on kudzu.com and on our website h2kinfosys.com. On our website h2kinfosys.com, you will also find more detailed information on who we are, the courses that we offer, what each course covers. Also, if you're interested in a demo program, please register on our homepage on the left-hand side. Just give us more information about yourself and we will send you a link for a demo class. The demo class is absolutely free. Experience our commitment by just attending an orientation workshop at no cost. Our team of faculty and advisors are here to guide you with the right information. If you still have more questions, please feel free to call us. Call us at 770-777-1269. This is a United States number. If you're calling from the UK, call us at 020-337-17615. You can also email us at training@h2kinfosys.com or h2kinfosys@gmail.com. Thank you for watching our videos. We wish you a great career in information technology.